I want to talk to you guys about something. I want to talk to you about, launching products and trying to teach things that you've never personally done before. What is up, everybody? Zero Fats here, aka Cam Jennings, coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com. Things that you have never personally done. I want to talk about it. There was a couple of messages being thrown around, and one of the messages I don't agree with, and I don't like it. So I wanted to talk about it. And that message was, hey, don't release products about things that you've never done personally. If you haven't done it, then don't talk about it. I don't agree with that. I know it's not true. I know it's ridiculous. It's one of those things that sounds good on paper, but in reality, it's nonsense. Bill Belichick is probably the greatest NFL coach of all time. People would argue that this guy is probably one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time. He's never played a down in the NFL. I think the highest he ever played in football was high school football. But he's able to coach these NFL players to a degree that he's won 5 NFL Super Bowl championships, and he's just really good at what he does. But he's a coach. He's not a player. He's never played a down in the NFL. I'll give you another example. It's even funnier than that. My wife's OBGYN doctor is a man. Now, nobody discredits this man for being an OBGYN doctor, for not having a vagina. The man doesn't have a vagina. What can he possibly know about, the female body? What can he possibly know about it, right? So, but he does. He goes to school. He learns more about the female body than most females know. And people respect that, and they acknowledge it. Even though he's not a woman, he could never be a woman. And some people in the IM space would say, why would you want to release a product about something you've never even done? Well, why would a man want to go to school to be an OBGYN doctor? Why would he want to learn about something he clearly is never going to have? He's never going to be able to experience having vagina. Why would Bill Belichick want to teach in the NFL when he clearly has never played in the NFL, never will play in the NFL? He will never do it. But yet, the man is acknowledged as one of the greatest coaches of all time in the NFL. Let me put this on a tripod so I'm not making everybody dizzy. The fact is, it sounds good on paper when you say, hey, you shouldn't be teaching something you've never done. It sounds good on paper, but in reality, that's nonsense. You can learn something really, really well, whether you've done it or not. Let's say I wanted to launch a product about Snapchat. I've never done Snapchat, you guys. I've never done it. To date, I've never done it. I'm not saying I never will do it, but I've never done it to date. Now let's see. I'm an intelligent guy and I'm an optimistic guy. What if I had 30 days to create a product about Snapchat? All right. Now, would I go the route of testing for 3 weeks on Snapchat and then taking the last week and creating a product? Or I could go a different way. I could go out there and find some of the best case studies on Snapchat, try to maybe interview a few of the people who are doing Snapchat all the time, and go out there. Basically, I'm outsourcing my experience, right? I'm outsourcing my experience. I'm finding people that know what the hell they're talking about, that have good experience. I'm finding case studies, and I'm doing a bunch of research on this topic, right? And I'm putting all this information together into a product or a book. That's great. Is there a place in the market for that product? Is it as good as the product from the guy who's done Snapchat for 10 years or whatever? I don't think Snapchat's been around for 10 years, but is it as good? It's debatable, okay? I always tend to say that experience outranks everything. I tend to think that. I tend to think experience outranks everything. However, that's not always true. We can go back to Bill Belichick. Never played a down in the NFL. Probably the greatest coach of all time. So it doesn't always outrank everything. Experience doesn't always outrank everything. Here's the thing, and here's where people get into trouble, all right? You need to be honest in your attack, all right? Now let's just assume You can release a product on anything. And I feel confident, you guys, I could release a product on anything. As long as I put in the work, do my research, and figure out all the good stuff that I can find about this product, I can help people with this thing, all right? Just like an OBGYN doctor, just like Bill Belichick. I can help people with this subject if I put in the work and I become a student of this subject. However, when you take off the product creation hat and you put on the marketing hat, because it takes both of them to succeed, and when you take off the product creation hat and you put on the marketing hat, you have an obligation to the people to tell them the truth. Right? You can't walk around and act like you've personally done this stuff and it works and you know what's up and you've been doing it since the beginning when you haven't. You can't do it. All right? You can't do it. And as soon as you start doing it, you're not being true to yourself. You're not being true to your customers, and it's going to catch you eventually. You're going to mess up. But here's the thing. The challenge becomes, how do I as a marketer sell something that I haven't personally done? Right? And the answer is, it's in the story and it's in the results, right? The story and the results don't have to come from you, all right? They don't. I can tell the story of Joe Smith, who has absolutely crushed it on Snapchat, right? Then I can give results from Joe Smith, Sarah Connor, and Sarah Connor was the chick from the Terminator, wasn't she? I'm just pulling these names out of thin air. I've watched too many science fiction movies, all right? Anyways, look, man, it's the marketing, all right? You have to be honest with people. The challenge becomes, how do I sell something when I haven't personally done it? That's the challenge. Now, look, the way it works with marketing is this, all right? People love stories and people love statistics. People love numbers. People love numbers because it's right there, and they really love numbers when you start pulling out graphs. Because when you start pulling out those visual graphs and putting numbers in them, man, it really shows people a visual picture, and they love that. You don't have to be the one who got those results. You just have to be honest about what's happening, all right? Let me show you guys what Sarah, Joe, and Connor did with Snapchat over the last 3 years. Bam, 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 bam. Then you can lay out a case study of what exactly they did to make that happen. Let me show you a brief overview of what they did to make that happen. First they did this, then they did this, then they did this. I studied 12 different people, all of them successful on Snapchat. Here's what I found in each case. They all did this, they all did this, they all did this, they all did this. That's a brief overview. In my course, I'm going to show you in-depth, step-by-step what they did, all right? Because I've talked to all of them, I've studied all of them, I've done all this and I've done all that, and I'll show you exactly what I found, okay? Take it or leave it. Now that's the thing, and that's honest, right? And nobody's going to be mad at you for that. And if you think that people won't pay you $7 or $8 or 10 or 15 bucks for your information, as long as you're being honest on your sales page and you're just telling people what's up, then that is a limiting belief, and you're wrong. You're just simply wrong, all right? Simply wrong. We can look back at my last product launch, Crash the Party. Let me tell you the story of Crash the Party, okay? Here's how Crash the Party came about, right? I felt pretty good with YouTube. I felt like I was doing really good. But I had already done Easy YouTube Money Method 1, Easy YouTube Money Method 2, and I didn't feel like I had a ton of stuff to add about YouTube, really. But then I started looking at some of the other people in marketing coming up, and I noticed, man, these cats were like under me before for subscribers and views, and now they're starting to pass me up for subscribers and views. And I was like, dude, my channel's growing too slow. What's going on with my channel? So I had to go back to the drawing board. I had to relearn all the new stuff about YouTube, figure out what stuff I was doing that was working, what stuff I was doing that wasn't working, and I took a ton of notes on all that stuff. And the result was 120 hacks to build your audience and make more money with YouTube, all right? The point is, I hadn't been using all that stuff in Crash the Party for years and years and years. And on my sales letter, I didn't say, hey, I've been using all this stuff for years and years and years. I didn't say that, and I didn't mean that, and that's not what the product was. That being said, The product was a good product. It's going to help people succeed on YouTube in 2017 and beyond. And that's what it's about. So here's what I'm saying. You guys, anybody can create a product if you become a student of it and you've learned enough about it. The key is the marketing, you guys. You have to be honest in your marketing. And you have to understand you don't need to be self-conscious about saying, hey, Joe Smith did this, instead of saying, hey, I did this. Because if you didn't do it, you didn't do it. You can own the fact that you didn't do it. That doesn't need to be a part of your marketing, all right? You don't make the emphasis in your marketing the fact that you haven't done it. You make the emphasis in your marketing the fact that this guy did it, this guy did it, this guy did it, and this guy did it, and I researched all of it, and I wrote it all down in this guide for you. Here you go. That's the emphasis in the marketing, okay? But don't be dishonest in your marketing, all right? You got to be honest in your marketing. People love honesty. You know, the people who would rather buy something from someone who's personally done it, that's cool. They can go do that. They can walk away and go do it. I can tell you guys, one of my favorite products, it was called Product Launch Confessions. Mike Vermain had never launched a product before. That was his first product he launched. And what was the product about? It was about launching products. How the hell does a guy launch a product about launching products when this is his first product launch? How does he do that? Here's how he did it, right? Mike Vermain interviewed 10 people that had been launching products for a while, and he interviewed them and asked them a bunch of questions about launching products, right? He asked them a bunch of questions about launching products. So what did he do, you guys? He outsourced the experience. He outsourced the experience, right? Now at the same time, he maintained authority. He maintained authority because his face was all over that product, right? There was 10 interviews. His face was on every single interview. So he had brand awareness there. He obviously had relationship with all these marketers, so it was celebrity by association. So he had authority. He had authority. Obviously, he'd been talking to a lot of people about launching products. So he maintained authority. He had celebrity by association. He had brand awareness all up in the product. And yet, he had no experience at that time launching products. Okay? So that's all I wanted to say, you guys. I want you to get it out of your head that if you haven't personally done something, you don't have a right to talk about it. Because you do have a right to talk about it. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. All I'm saying is, become knowledgeable about something. Become a student of that subject. You can study whatever you want and launch a product about it. All you need to do is be honest in your marketing. Be honest in your marketing. Don't try to mislead people. That's it, right? If you want to write a blog post about how to create a successful blog, and it's your first blog post of all time, I mean, what do you really know about, what do you really know about creating a successful blog? So what do? You say in your blog, in the first paragraph, you're going to say, hey guys, listen, I wanted to learn what it means to have a successful blog because I'm starting this one right now and I don't want it to fail and I don't want it to suck. So what I did was for the last 3 months, I went out and researched a bunch of successful blogs and I want to tell you some of the stuff I found right here in this blog post. Boom! Then you go right into the blog post, the 10 tips or the 15 facts or the 99 strategies or whatever you want to do. You go right into it, right? But the fact is, you've remained honest with your people. And honesty is an endearing quality. People love honesty. They might not be like you. You guys might not wear cut-off sleeve t-shirts, and you might not wear ball caps, and you might shave more often than I do. But because I am honest with you, that's endearing, and we can relate to each other, right? We can relate to each other on that level, all right? My audience is not all like me. Many of them dress differently than me. Many of them talk differently than me. Many of them come from different backgrounds than I do. But they're part of my audience because I'm real with them. I have a take on things. I have an opinion. I'm not afraid to stand up for what I believe in. And that's it, right? And I'm honest with them. That's it. So anyways, guys, that's all I got, man. If I were you guys, I wouldn't dwell on the negative stuff too much. It is what it is. I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all I got. If you like this video, if it's helped you in any way, please like, please share. Find a buddy to share this video with. You'll be helping me out. I'll dance at your wedding. Peace.